Steve believed in you. He trusted you. He gave you that shield for a reason. That shield, that is everything he stood for. That is his legacy. He gave you that shield and you threw it away like it was nothing. So maybe he was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Wait, was Steve wrong? There's a lot of people who wonder if Bucky Barnes would have been a better Captain America. I was one of them. So I decided to rewatch every Captain America and Avengers movie, plus the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series, to find out, what does it mean to be Captain America? What does the shield really stand for? And most importantly, do we even need a new Captain America? This then led me to study both Sam and Bucky's relationship with Steve, every appearance that they had along the years, and everything both did to deserve the shield, all in hopes to answer the very question we've all asked ourselves. Why Sam? To begin, I would like to ask you a question. Who is Captain America? Is he a soldier? A superhuman? Steve Rogers? Watch this clip and tell me what you think.
Whatever happens tomorrow, you must promise me one thing. That you will stay who you are. Not a perfect soldier, but a good man.
There, did you get it? Everything good that Captain America has didn't come out of a bottle. He had it already in him, and that's what makes him worth the title. He's a good man. Steve Rogers is a man that believes in freedom, justice, and that being the little guy doesn't always mean you're weak. So whoever is set to carry the mantle of the captain must be a brave soul who can lead and inspire people to fight for what is right, and that will always rather talk than fight. Okay, maybe not always. Now the big question is then, who's actually worthy?
So, who would like to start?
Let's start with Sam Wilson.
Don't say it! Don't you say it! Left. Come on!
We're introduced to a retired pilot who's helping veterans recover from PTSD by giving talks and listening to their problems. Wait, that seems oddly familiar. We'll talk about that later. He then meets Steve Rogers and immediately connects with him, all because of his spirit to help people and overall being a good man, as well as his loyalty to Captain America and his country. But he's also known to follow his own ideals when deciding to side with Cap against signing the Sokovia Accords. Overall, these two became friends since the second they met, and they created a bond of friendship and trust for one another that is not only grown off of fun jokes and friends stuff,
Come on!
but it's also due to the kind of man Steve Rogers sees in him. He sees himself. What about Bucky? He's been there for Steve since day one, taking him as his little brother. Later, they would join forces in battle, and Barnes would show to be more than just a good man, but a good soldier too. These guys were inseparable, and Bucky would be there every time his friend needed him. But after his tragic accident, Steve wouldn't see him for years. He then would return as the Winter Soldier, but that's where it gets interesting. The same movie where Steve meets a man where he can find himself is the same movie where he has to fight his best friend and make him remember the great man and friend he used to be. God, this movie's so good. From here on out, their friendship begins to rekindle, but his good man status still has some rough patches that need to be fixed, since he's still known as a merciless assassin by a lot of people, especially Steve's friends.
Did you know?
And needs to cleanse his mind to recover from his brainwashed self, which is why he's taken to Wakanda, for us to see him again in Infinity War as the soldier that he's always been meant to be. Has Bucky Barnes stopped being the good man he used to be 80 years ago? Not at all. But has his reputation and mind been permanently stained by his years serving as a cold-blooded assassin for Hydra? Unfortunately, also yes. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing since it really helps the channel a lot. Thanks. Okay, back to the video. So, we're back in Endgame. Cap chooses Sam as his herald, and by this point we start to wonder why Bucky wasn't the chosen one instead. Or maybe even ask ourselves, does there really need to be a successor? All we knew was that Sam had grown to become not only an amazing soldier, fighting countless battles alongside Cap, but that has also demonstrated to be a good man through all of it, with or without a super soldier serum. which does look like a weird but reasonable decision for Cap to want to pass down the mantle with him instead of anyone else. But then we jump to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and boy do things take a huge turn. Sam's first thought after being gifted the shield is naturally to give it back to the government, as we all would do.
He gave you that shield for a reason. That shield, that is everything he stood for. That is his legacy. He gave you that shield and you threw it away like it was nothing.
Yeah, not a great idea there, Sam. For it to be assigned to a new junior varsity Captain America.
Walker.
Our friend John Walker. You know how we've been talking about who's the best to give the shield to? Well, this is the example of a guy you don't give the shield to. But why? John Walker is one of the best soldiers the United States has to offer, being the first person to receive 3 medals of honor and had led missions against terrorism and hostage rescues in Afghanistan. Well, if you've been paying attention, you'd know that I specifically mentioned he was one of the best soldiers, but not necessarily a good man. Before you hate on me in the comments, I'm not saying he's a bad dude. Especially after his story arc in the new Avengers, it's clearer than ever that he's got the heart of a hero. But life has raised him to follow a different path that doesn't end with him becoming Captain America. That being said, we can all agree that being the best soldier isn't enough to be Captain America. Wait, where was Bucky this whole time though? Mostly recovering from his past demons, trying to make things right, and serving as the perfect comic relief together with Anthony Mackie.
Closer.
Well, which way
Why do you have to have your legs open? You know what? Fine, here.
Okay, jokes aside, we see both characters growing and becoming more than what they once were. Which is good to see, but this would slowly start falling apart with the release of Captain America: Brave New World. In this movie, the fans are starting to realize that Sam as Captain America just feels off. His suit, although cool, just doesn't bring anything new we haven't seen before. His lack of super soldier serum leads to inconsistent battles where he can struggle to defeat a regular guy, but then somehow stop an attack from a Hulk? This is one of the strongest arguments favoring Bucky as the new Cap, since he does have the serum and could lead to different results in battle, but this still doesn't make him a better contestant for the mantle. The real problem is that as similar as this movie is in terms of plot with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, the impact that Sam Wilson had as Cap in Brave New World doesn't even come close to what Steve Rogers achieved in one movie. And the truth is, it never will. The sheer aura that Chris Evans brought with the character is something that no matter what, Anthony Mackie simply can't stand up to. No matter how good he fights, how cool he looks, or how good of a speech he gives, he's lacking 10 years of character development that, for the better or worse, will never be beaten by anyone. And it hopefully never is. So then, nobody gets the shield? Hear me out. My other purpose was to find out what the shield meant for people, and it led me to understand that it's more than just a vibranium frisbee. The reason Sam wanted to display it in a museum is not only because he felt it didn't belong to him.
How does it feel? Like it's someone else's.
But also because of its meaning for the people, as a symbol of good, freedom, bravery, and hope. All Steve wanted was for all of these values to carry on even after his death. So maybe he didn't go for Bucky because at the time, he wasn't much of a symbol of good, due to his previous mishaps. Even though he's still a good man. Sam, on the other hand, had also fought for his country, and had stood by doing good and helping the little guy for his entire life. So Steve knew that if he wanted to keep the mantle alive, Sam would be the best one for the job. And although he's doing alright, it's fair to argue that he'll never be able to top off Rogers as the captain, which leads most of us to wonder if there even had to be a successor at all. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.